Are you a real estate agent who's looking for ways to make money with your real estate license without selling any more homes? Well, in this video, we're actually going to break down the top 3 strategies for you to be able to make money with your real estate license without actually having to sell any houses or close any transactions yourself. My name is 𝐭𝐫 𝐕𝐢𝐝, and I am the co-founder of Agent Wealth Hustle, and I am also an organization leader of over 70 agents in my real estate agent organization. And I'm joined here by the founder of Agent Wealth Hustle, my business partner, Charlie Cameron, who has an agent organization of over 100 real estate agents and also runs a local real estate agent production team of 6 agents and doing quite well on that end as well. So there are really 3 to 4 ways of earning money as a real estate agent, if you will, just with your real estate license without actually having to sell homes. And there's a lot of agents out there who are in different stages of their careers who might be looking for alternatives to selling real estate for the rest of their lives, but also want to continue leveraging their real estate license in order to bring themselves an income. So we'll start with the first one here, Charlie. And that is real estate referrals, right? This is probably the most common way for a lot of agents to, when they're thinking about making money with their license without actually closing deals. Charlie, I know you do a lot on the referral side, and you have sent out and also received tons of real estate referrals from clients and other agents as well. So what is the way for agents to make money with a real estate license through real estate referrals?
Yeah, so referrals are a really cool, unique way that most of the public doesn't know about when it comes to making money in real estate. And what it entails is if you as an agent know anyone moving anywhere, and you can help connect that person with a real estate agent to help them on their buy or listing of their home, then that agent, by giving them that lead, essentially giving them that client, that agent's going to be willing to send you at least 25% of the commission at closing. So you got to do 0 of the transaction. All you did was you pair an agent with a client, boom, and you still made a quarter of the money or more in some cases. You can sometimes justify more or charge more. It's really up to you. But this is a really cool way to add an additional income stream on top of whatever commissions and closings you're already doing. For me, I'm doing 1 to 2 referrals per month. On average, that's starting to really pick up now that I have a couple communities that I've kind of focused more on doing that for. But, that's thousands of dollars in additional income each month without selling any additional more homes. I mean, it takes you very little time. If you've got a great network of agents, we can tap into 90,000 agents across the globe at any time and find the right agent for that client. And, you might want to get as specific as, oh, they're a VA buyer. Let me find someone with military experience. Do that, hook them up, find something that's going to be a good fit, and boom, they're going to close with that client and you're going to get paid from it, which is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's an amazing way for agents to leverage a real estate license, especially if they have a skill set or a large network of clients who are looking to buy or sell real estate and generate a lot of leads, right? And we actually know some people who have built entire businesses without ever selling real estate, just through sending real estate referrals through the leads they're generating in the networks that they've built as well. So it's a really cool way for agents to be able to essentially step out of production eventually and use their real estate license to make money without actually having to close deals. So the second way to make money without selling houses with your real estate license is actually becoming a mentor or coach to other real estate agents that are out there and really leveraging that skill set that you've built as an agent in your career to, help the next generation of real estate agents be successful. So this is something that I think you are personally doing as well. You are a certified mentor with our real estate brokerage EXP, and there's a lot of agents out there who are leveraging their skills and their experience to mentor and coach other agents.
Yeah, this can look different ways, and the compensation structure could be different depending. What I think is the right structure is you get compensated with the transaction closings. I think that really makes this more powerful than like, I'm just going to pay a coach $20,000 bajillion to teach me how to do real estate. And it's like, I find that a little bit off-putting. I think what really is helpful are the people who are already at your brokerage, who are in your MLS, that can walk you through all the tools you need and actually hold your hand through transactions, end-to-end, review contracts with you, help you understand the transaction piece, the negotiation piece. I was assigned a mentor, and she was absolutely fabulous. We still chat today. And literally, my first 3 transactions, it was like, oh, of course, everything's falling apart on every Saturday evening. And she would drop everything and assist. And it was a fantastic opportunity. And that's why I was like, I'm going to do this too. When I have enough experience to help others, I'm going to do this too. And so, and the way that compensation works is you just get that agent pays more commission during that mentorship period. And a large part of that commission goes to the mentor. They're still making the majority of the commission on the deal, which is cool. But you basically get compensated to help them close a transaction, which I think is a perfect win-win. And so that's a really cool way where, hey, you didn't have to go find the client, and you can basically participate in the transaction from kind of a step back and just kind of help here, there, wherever, and get paid for it. It's kind of like referrals, but you're coaching along the way.
Right, exactly. So as somebody who has any type of experience in the real estate industry as an agent, you can leverage that experience, right, and help other agents get their careers going, do better as a real estate agents themselves. And I love the way that you describe the perfect compensation structure for a mentor or coach. And that is not necessarily charging people a flat fee or some type of subscription to be a part of your coaching circle or service every month, but instead actually align your benefits to the benefits of the agent as well. Align yourself with the agent in a way where whenever they're closing transactions, you're getting compensated for helping them close more transactions and winning as well. So that is a great way for agents to leverage your real estate license as well and make more money without actually having to sell more homes. So the third way to actually leverage your real estate license and make money without selling any real estate is building a production team, right? It might sound like a pretty crazy idea, but it's actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because what a production team leader does is they generate the leads and they pass it on to the agents in their team, and they make sure that the agents in their team are doing everything necessary to get that lead from being a client to an actual closing and getting a percentage of their commissions as well. So Charlie, this is something that you recently started, was your local production team, and it's actually kind of helped you, right, step out of local production yourself because you have the people surrounding you and that infrastructure.
Yeah, building a production team is no joke. It's definitely a more work than I anticipated it being, but it's kind of rewarding in its own way, right? Because you're teaching other agents in sort of a mentorship role to do things in a way that is consistent with your brand, which is cool. And if you got new agents, you're kind of mentoring them along the way. But it really gives you the opportunity as an agent who now knows how to generate leads to take a step back and get out of the grind of production by putting others in that spot, right? And so now you're putting agents into that role to handle the showings, to do the contracts, and really take the transaction end to end, where you're now in the rainmaker, generating the leads, and the overseer role, right? Making sure things are done correctly, done well, because ultimately it's still your brand and your name on the line. So you have to still be involved and make sure that things are getting done correctly. And you may have to be the one that's taking in the leads and handing them off, right? And that handoff gets really important when you go from it, they just come to me and then I go handle it. Now they're coming to me and I have to have that conversation and hand them off successfully to another agent when they thought maybe they were working with me. And so you definitely have to change the way you brand yourself and the way you lead generate, as we are a team. Charlie is the team leader and he oversees the transactions, but you will be assigned a lead agent based on your location, right? Like where you're going to buy. And that worked out really well for us because how big the Florida Panhandle is. So we kind of had to do it that way. But it definitely comes with its pros and cons.
Right. And something that I think a lot of team leaders find is they end up thinking that they're going to generate the leads and just pass it on to their agents for successful closing, but they're going to find themselves actually being much more involved in the actual transaction process and pretty much just end up being the person that's going to be closing the deal anyways, and just kind of attaching other agents to that transaction who's part of their team. So that's probably something that you could probably testify for, right?
Yeah, certainly for especially brand new agents, you're going to be a lot more involved in those transactions versus more senior agents. And just to kind of put perspective for a production team, if you go talk to a solo agent who's crushing it out there, who would be perfectly who you want to bring onto your team, guess what? They probably don't need you, right? They probably don't need a team. So a lot of times the folks you're going to be bringing into the team are the ones that are either brand new agents or experienced agents who aren't really generating leads, right? And so to some extent, you're going to be skewed towards having to take newer agents because recruiting agents is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world for a production team. And so you want to make sure that you have a good value proposition, and you ultimately have to be okay with, you're going to have to train some folks. You're going to have to be involved in transactions for any new agents you bring on board, at least for a little while.
Right, exactly. So again, if you guys are looking for ways to make money without having to sell houses and leverage your real estate license to do so, starting a team, right, there's definitely a way to do this, but just be aware that, especially in the beginning, you might actually spend a lot of time actually going through the transaction and closing process as you are building out your team.
And you want it to feel like let's say you're doing a 50-50 split. Like, you don't want it to feel like you're now having to put in a whole bunch of effort to get half the commission, right? Versus solo agents. So you definitely want it to feel like you're having a win overall. But do keep in mind, like, even if you're a 50-50 split tends to be the most common. Mine particularly, I only charge for my leads for that 50%. I charge a much smaller fee, but still provide services, transaction coordinator stuff if it's their leads. But keep in mind that 50% you're taking, you're really not taking home 50% because you're doing lead generation, whether that's your time or that's your money. You're doing marketing, you're buying signs, your lock boxes. You are providing a lot of materials, and like, I provide a transaction coordinator. I provide someone who we have to answer every single call. I want to make sure every call is answered. Not everyone is available all the same time, so I have someone that does that. We have social media stuff we pay for. So ultimately, you're not going to keep that whole 50% either, right? And so you just kind of have to keep that in mind, that it's going to be a very active business that you're still running, and that it's probably more expensive than you think it is when it comes to splits.
Right, exactly. So that's the first 3 ways to actually be able to leverage your real estate license without having to sell houses and make money at the same time. Now, this 4th option is by far, I think, mine and Charlie's favorite option for anybody out there who has a real estate license that want to leverage a real estate license to make money without actually having to sell houses. And this is building a real estate agent organization through a brokerage that offers what we call a revenue sharing model. And the reason why this is the best option is because you can essentially leverage the efforts of other agents that you are referring or introducing to join the brokerage that you're with. And you don't have to sell any real estate. You don't have to generate any client leads to give to these agents, and you don't have to manage their transactions either, or manage anything as far as coaching or mentoring those agents on a transaction to transaction basis either. So this is something that is truly allowing you to step away from the actual transaction and closing houses side of the real estate industry and provide value to other agents in a different way and earn money with your real estate license.
Yeah, and I'm sure our viewers might be thinking, but I came to real estate to sell real estate. And absolutely, of course you did. And that's what happens to most of us. But most of us realize that we don't want to sell houses literally until we die. So you have to find ways to continue to generate income without having to sell homes. And you may eventually, or maybe sooner than later, you may want to start working on that so that you do have an exit strategy, you do have an exit plan. You transition to referrals, you transition to an agent organization, whatever that may be, so that you don't have to be involved in the day-to-day transactions anymore, so that you can create time, location, and financial freedom. Of the 4 ways we've done this is by far the best way to do that. And starting on it early while you're selling houses, while you're doing referrals, maybe you're starting a production team, but doing this from day one is going to set you up for success faster and be able to give you that financial freedom, that time freedom, that location freedom that you can't have when you have a production team or you're a solo agent. It gives you that opportunity to be able to do that from the get-go.
Right. And I love that you mentioned the not just the time freedom and the money freedom, but also the location freedom, because you're actually going through something very similar, or actually not very similar, exactly that. You're right. You're changing locations, right? So you're currently in the Florida market and you have a real estate agent production team that is in that market. And, you know, from the conversations you're having now, you're going to eventually have to let that team go at some point, but your agent organization is going to stay with you when you move to your new area.
Yeah. And so the cool thing is, you know, moving to Virginia, the wife's in the military still. You know, I took the entrepreneur route and left, but she's still in it, and she wants to stay, and she enjoys that. That's her passion, and this is my passion, right? But I got to move. And guess what? You may be in a similar situation. You don't know it yet. You're eventually gonna have to move. And what happens to your brand, right? You know, and a lot of team leaders and brokers, they build these awesome things, and then eventually they go, well, what am I going to do with it? You know, most of them can't sell it. They end up having to just let it go. Versus if these agents are in your organization, they're there forever, right? And you can move around, you can continue to help them, right? It's still a win-win scenario where your only role really in that role is to help them succeed in real estate, whether that's help them sell more houses, whether that's help them start their own organizations, whatever that may look like. Your role is to just help them succeed in whatever capacity you want, whether it's providing resources or like a mastermind and a team drive and courses like we do, you know, whatever it may be. That's your role. You don't have to walk through transactions anymore. You don't have to be local anymore, and you can put into it what you want to put into it, and support them at what level you want. And so for me, yes, leaving my production team, it's going to be, you know, it's hard because it's cool. I built a thing. But at the same time, I'm not too worried about it because I already have the organization too, and that's just going to fall into it.
Right, exactly. So it really gives you that, I would say, that exit strategy, and being able to exit having to close transactions or manage transactions or whatever it is that is taking up your time day to day to generate you income. And it's a great way for agents who are looking to create a new income stream without having to actively sell real estate for the rest of their lives by leveraging their real estate license. So it's a really cool strategy. We're definitely 100% behind it. And if you guys are watching this video, and if this is something that you want to do yourself and build a real estate agent organization that can give you the time, the money, and of course, location freedom that you're looking for when you first jumped into real estate, right, to build wealth, not just an income, we want to be able to help you do that. So if you guys are ready to grow a real estate agent team or organization to any size, make sure to book a one-on-one Zoom call with one of us today in the description down below. And that way you can learn more about how you can partner directly with us and get to work with us and leverage all of the tools, the resources, the training, the coaching, and the systems that we use personally, myself, to build an agent organization of 70 agents, and Charlie, an organization of over 100 agents, so that you can leverage these same tools to build your agent organization, and will help you sit down and develop a tailored roadmap and strategy that is going to benefit you when you're building your organization, so that you can create a unique value proposition from your experience, your knowledge, and your skill sets as well. So make sure to book a call with us if you want to do that. And make sure to tune in to the rest of the videos in our Passive Income Agent series in our playlist. And we will see you in the next video.